Do you ever feel like NFL kickers just keep getting better? Year after year, it seems like not only are they making more field goals than ever, but they're also trying them from further back than ever before. And on paper, those two things should be direct opposites. They should oppose each other. The further back you try, the less efficient you're going to be. But that has not been the case. And I feel like we've really seen that over the past couple years. Kickers just seem to be more and more accurate and more efficient no matter the distance. Last year, there was an article that came out from ESPN, and it stated that through 8 weeks, league kickers had converted 73.6% of field goals attempted of 50 or more yards. And that beat the previous high of 71.6 through 8 weeks of the 2022 season. So not only are we getting new highs, but the highs that we're beating are ones that came from just a few years prior. So all the success is coming really recently. And what that says is that there absolutely is something to this. To the fact that kickers are just more and more often nailing it right through the uprights. So why is that? When the game of football evolves in a way in which maybe we pass more and you see quarterbacks increase their numbers, that makes sense. When you see defenses develop new schemes, that makes sense. But when you have something like this on special teams, in which it seems like a pretty similar system to what we had in the past, it makes a little bit less sense at first glance as to why this change is happening. But there's a couple factors. First of all, I want to talk about the NFL's K balls. These are the specialized footballs for the kickers to use. And the NFL has had these in the past, but just this year they changed the rules regarding them. You see, K balls, they are designed to maximize kicking efficiency, and they are utilized by kickers in practice. But up until this year, when it came down to game day, teams could not use the kicking balls they had in practice. Instead, they had to specially prepare them within a 60 to 90-minute window on game day. And when you are in an hour and a half kind of rush to prepare these balls, you're not going to be able to maximize your efficiency there. They are not going to be perfectly conditioned the way that the kicker might be used to in practice because you have such a short window of time relative to what you have now. Because the NFL, they put in new rules, and these K balls, 60 of them are now given to teams before the year begins. And so now managers can condition them before the game, before that 90-minute constraint. And so now they can really break in these K balls more than ever before. So now kickers, they are not relying on whatever the equipment managers could do within 90 minutes before a game. Instead, now the equipment managers, they have all week, they have all month, they have all season to condition these K balls for maximum efficiency, to break them in and allow the kickers to work with what works best for them. And so now they have more familiarity with these K balls than ever before. And in turn, having something that you prefer, that you are so conditioned to, that you were most comfortable with, that can really impact your efficiency. You see, I played soccer for about 8 years, and the way that my league did it was this. At practices, everyone brings their own soccer ball. But on game day, there is only one ball in use. And over time, as you keep bringing your ball into practice, you're going to get used to that one. And yes, they are the same size. But you've broken that one in. You know how it feels the best. And so when you go into a game on Saturday and maybe you're using a different soccer ball, it's just not going to quite feel the same. But the impact of this in the NFL is even greater because in soccer, you can work around it. You can do your dribble moves, work up to taking that shot. You have time to condition yourself to this game ball. But in the NFL now, they didn't really have as much time to condition themselves to these new balls, but now they have the whole season to. And so they are able to develop more familiarity with these K balls than ever, and that really puts their efficiency over the top. So that's the primary reason, in my opinion, why this year kickers have done so well. The footballs that they're kicking are more conditioned, more broken than ever before. They're more familiar with them than ever before. They are more comfortable with them than ever before. And there's not that contrast between practice and game day. So that, in my opinion, I think has been huge. However, with the importance of K balls, yes, that accounts for the success we've seen from kickers this season. But what about the last couple years? Because in recent years, we've seen the record for longest field goal made be broken. We have seen efficiency steadily rise. So why has that happened even if it's only this year where we're seeing the K balls? And the reason for that is the overall kicking style that the NFL kickers are approaching the game with now. And I referenced soccer earlier. We're going to get back into that. So originally, field goals, when it came to the NFL, kickers utilize a straight-toed and barefoot approach. And what that kind of style does is it puts an emphasis on power as opposed to accuracy. You see, when you do that, you bring your foot back and then you kick it forward with your toe. And that's supposed to create some power. However, it does have drawbacks in accuracy. You can't always control it the same way that you would with the side of your foot. With that side, there's more control. And over time, the NFL kicking style, it has developed into that. It's utilizing a soccer style now, an in-step kick, where you don't look to just do it necessarily with your toe. You put an emphasis instead on using the top part of your foot that's covered by the shoelaces, by the laces of your cleats. That's the instep. So instead of towing the ball, you're hitting it just a little bit differently, but that makes all the difference in the world. And it maximizes both your power and your accuracy. You see, this large area that you're hitting the ball with now, that's going to allow for a more stable, powerful, and controlled kind of kick, as opposed to the more limited and less controlled style of toe kick. When you hit it with your instep, you have a lot more power over your ball speed, the spin of it, and the trajectory of it, as opposed to a toe poke. And it's got a more stable contact point, so that's with the accuracy there. And that's what you're going to see NFL kickers doing now is the in-step kick. And so the development of the game over time, we've seen them go from the toe poke to the in-step kick, and that has been huge. Now, I also feel like these developments, from the efficiency of the in-step kick to the K balls and their widespread use now, it's only going to get better for NFL kickers from here. They're only going to build upon this. You hear commentators talking now about how a 50-yard field goal, that's simply expected. And now more than ever, and we see this in every single league, at every single position. When it comes to the world of sports, players have just gradually gotten better over time. And that's not to say that guys of the past were less talented. But now we train and develop players from a younger age than ever before. We have more sports medicine, more sports science than we ever have. And that's all designed to maximize the performance of these athletes. We condition them, we train them, we develop them like never before. And so when you have something like kicking, that is a repetitive motion. And yes, there's going to be times you're on the other side of the hash. There's going to be times where you're doing it from further back. There's going to be times where you're doing it closer. But relative to a quarterback or a wide receiver, in which you've got to learn all these routes, you've got to figure out what works against what matchup. For a quarterback, you got to learn when to lob it up. You got to learn when to throw it as fast and as hard as you can. For a kicker, it's more repetitive. That is not to say that it's a lesser skill or lesser talent. I don't believe that whatsoever. But what I do mean is that when we are continually training them with the newfound sports medicine that we have, the newfound sports science that we have, we're able to repeat that motion over and over again until we can almost perfect it because it is so similar every time. And yes, there are nuances in it, but not in the same way that you would have a skill position player and have their nuances. And because we can continually practice this motion, we can begin to perfect it. And so I think kicking is only going to get better because now also you're seeing guys and they're seeing the likes of Brandon Aubrey and formerly Justin Tucker making these long kicks and making them at a high rate. And they want to grow up and they want to be like him. So we have more kicking trainers than ever. And so it's only going to get better and better. And we're already seeing it impact the game. So now we established some of the methods in which kicking has evolved over time, in which it has gotten better over time, with the K balls and instep in particular. And we've touched on how sports science and player development that has allowed guys to only get better, and I think that's only going to continue. But why does this all matter? And I think the way that kickers have evolved has massively impacted the game, and we're really seeing that this season. Special teams matter more now than ever. Having a good kicker now matters more than ever because now, with the talent level of kickers in the modern league, if you have a good one, that opens up the door for more points to be scored than ever before. Because think about when you're on a drive and that drive gets stalled. If you are not within your kicker's range, you're going to have to punt. But now that kicker's range is getting further and further back, and the need for punting is becoming less and less. And in turn, teams are making more field goals on any given drive. There's a good chance they're coming away with 3 points at the bare minimum. This new level of kicking has opened the door for that. And so now in the modern league, you'll see a team take a 60-yard field goal over a punt because they have trust in their kicker. They have trust that they've opened up the field enough that their kicker has the ability to make a kick from 60 yards out. That's unheard of. And so now offenses are more dynamic than ever because of the kicker. And I think that's really special because now the kicker is more important than ever. They have become more efficient. They have become more accurate. They have become more powerful. And I don't think it's going to stop. There's a chance that they only start getting better from here. And if you are one for the stock market, here are my words for you: invest in kickers now.